You're listening to This Week in the World of Football, which is coming to you from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The purpose of this podcast is to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. The intent is to educate, inform, and entertain you, the listener, with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while also keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. You can find this show on a multitude of podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. Timestamps are provided in the show description, so you can jump to the topics you really want to listen to. So without further ado, let's kick off this week's show.
Hello again, everyone. This is episode 399 for June 24th, 2025. I am your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the matchup is set for the 2025 Arena Crown Championship game. Former New York Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley announces his retirement from the NFL. And University of Wisconsin has filed a lawsuit against Miami, accusing the school of tampering with a player that they have under contract. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table for me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Oh, gosh, we're in a world where college kids got contracts. Now This is what we feared would happen.
Yep. Hey, you broke your contract. You're in a contract to us, and we're not letting you out of your contract. You can't go to the transfer
What have
portal.
I been saying? Semi-professional or a collegiate professional athlete.
Yeah.
It's we're here.
They should call it, I'm not kidding, they should call it the Pro College League.
Or Pro-Am. They're professional amateurs, if you ask me.
Well, if you're not, that term never made any sense to me. Because a pro-am was where they put a pro and an amateur together.
Yes.
But college players, they are pros because they're being paid to play.
Yeah, well, they're being paid like professionals, but they're a bunch of amateurs. Like that's how I see it. Come at me. That's fine.
I disagree.
It's fine. We can all
They're now professionals.
agree to disagree. That's fine.
They're going to have to form a union and all this stuff.
I'm telling you, they're going to have to come up with a whole new league anyway. That's the next step. I'm just waiting for that domino to finally fall. Everything else has been happening. Now you got contract disputes. You got people leaving for money. It's, hi, welcome to the professional college age. Like, just start a new league already.
Yeah, I hate it already. All right, let's see. Not only do we have this weekly podcast, but we also make YouTube videos. We currently have over 580 videos on our YouTube channel, with the newest being last week's AF1 playoff recap, which we just did yesterday.
Yeah.
for last
For
weekend.
the semifinals.
Yep. We did our CFL weekly, week 3. That'll be up either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, it was in the can, and I just took the family to the movies last night, so I was only able to get the AF1 video up, but don't worry, the CFL one's in the can. I just got to sit down and edit it. We got a busy couple of days before the Arena Crown trip.
Yeah.
So
You mean you have a life outside of football?
I try to.
I know nothing of this.
Oh. Well, you're retired, so you get a little more time on your hands. I got to be, man.
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
know.
be real picky.
I remember those days.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
You juggle the podcast and a family?
Yes. Well, if you consider a wife, dog, kids,
No.
and your brother Abram family,
I mean,
and horses. Anyway, we also did an interview with Dalton Cole. You may have seen the short on that, where we talked about his Kalamazoo connection.
yeah, we did a couple of shorts with him. He great interview, quarterback for the
a lot of fun talking to
Oregon
him.
Lightning of the AF1. Talked about his experience doing that, and pretty cool guy. It was a lot of fun talking to him.
Yep.
It was an interview we were hoping to get lined up for a while now, and we finally did it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sure was. All right, so upcoming videos that we're working on. We've got our CFL weekly for week 4 coming up after this weekend. We're going to have our AF1 Arena Crown Travelogue.
Yeah, that's kind of locked in. That's not the finale of our AF1 recap, so I'm sure we'll have a true recap. I think the Travelogue will just be an encompassment of some shorts we're going to do, because since we're driving out to Albany to this Arena Crown this weekend, we're going to do some shorts along the way, have some fun with it, probably be like 4, 5, 6 parts. Who knows how many bathroom breaks Randy needs. We're going to do it every time we got to stop. There'll probably be a short. And then we'll do a recap probably at the game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Post-game or something. In the hotel room, we'll do a recap of the championship.
Sure.
And then that'll be done.
Yep.
And then might be some other surprises this weekend, depending on how things line up. I know there's a grave.
A possibility of a grave
en
visit.
route that you were talking about going to.
Yep.
So
Yep. We'll see. We've got all kinds of stuff planned.
a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah.
And then also, if you guys are listening to this, probably by the time this goes up, it'll be time for you guys to tune in to AF1 Fan Zone, where Dad and I will also be on there. I know you for sure will be.
Yep.
I'll try to tune in, or I'll try to log on as well at the start time that Tim sent us. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't know this when we put it in the video last night, but the Firebird's Nest will be another group that'll be on the show. So I think we're doing like a big group panel kind of thing with them.
Okay.
So it'll be a big show for them. I think, what did he call it? He had a fun name for it. I sent you the picture of what the thumbnail said. Give me 2 seconds to look that up. You're great at remembering stuff. I text you. Our text.
You text
chain.
me so much crap, I don't pay attention to everything you send me. Just
You need to, because everything I send
yeah.
is important.
Yeah.
It is going to be called the Fan Zone Live Around the Crown Roundtable. I thought that was a great, clever name. You'll see the nest for the Firebirds fan group and our World of Football logo on the thumbnail with the AF1 Fan Zone. So looking forward to that tonight.
Okay.
8 o'clock Eastern, I believe, is when that stream
Yes.
starts. 8:05.
Yes.
They got it set at 8:05, so we'll probably be on there 5 minutes before. Tune in for their great opening theme song.
All right. This week on the show, we have scores from 27 games in 6 different leagues from across the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and Europe, including 2 playoff games. So when you hear someone say that they can't wait for football season to begin, and you know somebody will, you have our permission to laugh right in their face and tell them to listen to our show.
You know, like I've been seeing, I think NFL memes and a couple other people have been putting, May, June, July, May, June, July,
August,
whatever. Like they're waiting for football to come back. And I'm
yeah.
just sitting there like, guys, it never left.
Yeah.
But also, I believe I saw our friend from Gridiron Japan post preview for the Japan season.
Yes,
That's
he did.
coming up.
Yep,
So,
I started watching a little of that this morning. So yeah,
let's go. We're going to be getting some X League recap.
They just
soon.
dropped their schedule, so that's
Okay.
what it was. It was going to be talking about their. I think they have an 8-game schedule also, but they were talking about the schedule.
So
it just got released.
we'll be having Greg stop by to give us the
Yep.
lowdown on the X League pretty soon. All right,
Yep.
let's do it.
All right. So let's begin our weekly tour around the world of football. And we're going to start off this week with playoff scores from the Arena Football 1.
That's right, guys. 2 games this weekend. 2 games that looked like they were going to be a lot of fun. And to be honest with you, both of these games did actually have a lot going for it. Starting with the Saturday game on Evergreen now, the Albany Firebirds defeated the number 4 seed, Salina Liberty, Albany being the 1 seed, 75-44. Look, this was a tale of 2 halves.
Right. Oh,
Albany,
yeah.
I mean, Salina played Albany close in the first half. It was only a 10-point game going into half. It was Albany 35, Salina 25. And that's kind of been Salina's sweet spot, that 10 points. They came back from 17 points like the last 2 games.
Right.
So it was like, all right, I wasn't counting them out yet at all. But Albany was kind of on top of things in the second half. They outscored Salina 20-6 in the third quarter. And then they outscored Salina 20-13 in the fourth quarter, leading to that 75-44 win to keep their perfect season alive at 11-0. And with that victory, that means Albany will now host the Arena Crown Championship game at the MVP Arena. The Arena Crown, obviously, we didn't get to talk about it on last week's show. Like, as soon as we turned off the microphones and got home, and I'm like about to post the show, they announced the name of the championship game. I'm like, son of a gun. Our timing could not be worse. So the Arena Crown Championship game. I know we talked a little bit about it last night on our weekly show. Real quick, Dad, what are your thoughts on the title game name?
I think it's got a lot of possibilities. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You're going to be crowning a champion, so why not Arena Crown? I mean, Bowl and Cup were kind of not able to be used, and so they had to come up with something different. And this was as good as anything else I could have come up with. I mean, we had some BS names for it, and mostly in fun, and none to be taken seriously. So this is what they came up with, and like I was saying on another show, I hate change. So this is different for me. It's not the Arena Bowl anymore. It's now the Arena Crown, and it's just going to take a little time for me to soak my head around this. But I think after this weekend, I'll like it a lot more.
Yeah, we talked about how memeable it is now because of Burger King crowns, all those jokes. Get them out of your system. Yep, you literally have 2 Burger King crowns over there next to you. How many are you going to wear them to the game?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think it'd be fun if you tape an AF1 logo in front of that Burger King crown. I have to get a picture of you before we leave. But So I think I said on the show too. Look, I didn't like the name at first. I thought it was silly, a little cheesy. But the more you think about it, it's like, what else can you do?
Yeah,
with the
nobody
name?
else is using.
And
that.
you didn't want to be bland like the AF1 championship. Like that's okay, simple. It gets the point across, but it's not unique. Arena Bowl had a good ring to it. Arena Cup had a good ring to it. But some of these other leagues, like you talk about, like what was the NAL championship game? It's just the NAL championship.
Yeah.
What's the indoor football leagues? The IFL national championship. Like, it's not. It doesn't sound unique enough. It seems pretty bland,
pretty standard.
But Arena Crown, that's pretty interesting. I like personally what the Arena League does. They have Arena Mania. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's out there.
So that's unique. It's out there, and I dig it. But Arena Crown, it'll just take some time to settle in, and there's so much you could do around that. Like, are we going to have the champions inauguration?
The coronation.
Instead of the post-game, trophy ceremony, it's the Arena Crown coronation ceremony. Like, so you could work it so many ways.
Instead of the MVP of the game, that could be the. God, I lost my train of thought all of a sudden.
Oh no! Well, I saw Steven Titus suggest that Jerry Kerr should come out in a big red, the big red king's robe to give out the trophy. So.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think it'd be great. I think all the brass should have the big flowing red capes. It look like one of those like secret societies on a stage passing out a trophy to somebody. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, what I was trying to say was the MVP could be the king of the arena championship.
The king of the crown?
Yeah.
There you go. That kind of rolls out. The king of the crown. You don't want to say king of the hill, but anyway, so Arena Crown, I guess it gets a thumbs up for now.
Sure.
We'll see what fun stuff they decide to do with that.
Yep.
All right, so the second game of the weekend then, on Sunday, nationally televised on Vice TV, saw the number 2 seed Nashville Cats, and you always spell it with a Z for some reason, defeating the Southwest Kansas Storm 48-43. A little bit of a closer game. I don't think Nashville ever trailed in this game.
No,
but Southwest Kansas hung in there. Yeah, they were down for a bit of the game, but they always hung in there. They were just a couple possessions away, and they just couldn't get those back. The Cats had a couple stops, and that's kind of the big difference in this game. Well, we talked about stats and stuff last night. Tyler Culk had a great game. A few of the receivers had great games. We didn't even talk about Castronova's 10 touchdowns in the Firebirds game. I mean, we talked about that last night. But Nashville looked good. Their arena looked great.
Yes.
It looked packed.
I want to go to there.
I think that is the way they got to go. Going with whatever that name of that arena is in Clarksville. I hope that's their new home. If they have to rebrand, go for it. I like the sound of Tennessee Cats. You can keep the logo. I like that color scheme. So we'll see. And you got to keep Eli Gold around everybody.
Absolutely.
He's been doing the Cats broadcasts for their evergreen stuff, and he got to do this nationally televised game. They said it was his first nationally televised arena game since 2005, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And he sounded great.
Yeah, he
sounded great. They showed him a couple times on TV. He looks great still. So good for him. I would love to see him I've been saying it, beating the drum for Eli Gold doing the championship game. Whether or not that happens, who knows, for one reason or another, whether because it's in Albany, they feel obliged to give the Albany announcers a shot, whatever. Or maybe Eli Gold couldn't do it even if they asked him to.
Right, yeah.
Maybe he doesn't travel outside of Nashville. That's also possible, and that's fine if that's the case. It's just, I know whenever you get Eli Gold to do your broadcast, Dad, it just classes up the joint.
Yep, it sure does.
I sat there. It was 7-6, and I couldn't have been more riveted by a 7-6 ball game in arena football when he's on the call. Yeah. I'm not even joking about that. Is not hyperbole in the slightest. I am serious. I was into that game at 7-6 or 7-6 because of Eli Gold. He just wove a golden picture during that game, and I was enthralled.
Yeah,
that's what I want to feel when I'm watching arena football. That took me back to the good old days. It really did.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever heard his voice doing an arena game. I think it was the very first Arena Cup game. I saw a replay of that, and he broadcast that.
Sure it wasn't way before that?
That's the first time I really became aware of Eli Gold.
I mean, I would watch, because we had season tickets to the Rampage in 2001. I'd watch the TNN games a lot because you would get to go. I'd have to stay home because you only had 2 tickets. But I remember watching him do games, and he was just always the one that stuck out. It worked. And then when they transitioned to NBC, he stuck around for a bit and did those games, and those were always great. And I didn't know years later I'd be missing that voice doing those games. And when he finally came back last year to do some games, it was great.
Yeah.
It really takes you back.
Yeah,
So,
this Cats game, like you said, the final score was 48-43, but that was the score with a minute left. And Southwest Kansas had a chance at an onside kick to get the ball back and maybe, take the lead, tie it up, whatever. The onside kick was no good, so the Cats were able to run out the ball after that. So, I mean, it was that close, and that's the way you want an arena game, where the other team has, in the final minute, they still have a chance.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened this time around.
It was a really good back and forth a little bit. You're like, okay, they're down by possession, but they were never out of it,
Right.
and that's what you want. And the crowd was into it. There was a lot of jawing. It was getting really chippy, so it just had that atmosphere that you wanted. And Washington, the receiver for Southwest Kansas, was just having a great game. He was John with the fans. He was John with the other players. He would score a touchdown and would get in. There was that one play where I believe he caught a touchdown and set the ball in front of the coordinator for the Cats. Did you remember that play?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, I was like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. This is some Terrell Owens stuff happening.
Yeah.
It was a great time. I'll say that. I had fun watching that game. And after the Cats win, that sets up the first ever Arena Crown matchup, your AF1 title game. We'll see the number 2 Nashville Cats take on the number 1 Albany Firebirds in Albany, New York at 1 o'clock on Saturday, June 28th. On Vice TV. Be there or be square. We will be in the arena for that game. Looking forward to covering that and all that entails.
And you just showed me they just released the new trophy.
They kind of sneakily revealed the trophy. Not what I was expecting, but still a cool looking trophy. If I'm honest with you, this one doesn't look like they went down to the local trophy shop and picked up a big cup. I know, no offense to our buddy Steven Titus, who's got that Arena Bowl trophy from last year, but that I've seen that exact trophy kind of looking at my local trophy shop where I get my fantasy football league trophy. So yeah, this looks like a big step up from last year's trophy. So it gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, so. It's nice. I like it.
Yep. So we'll be on the lookout for that. I'm sure if you guys peruse the internet, you'd find it. All right. Anything else about the Arena Crown before we move on?
No, it's going to be a really hectic couple of days, a lot of long days of driving, and
who knows what kind of coverage we're going to get when we get out there.
Yeah,
so
but it'll be fun.
Keep an eye out to the socials and our YouTube channel, guys. We'll try to keep everybody entertained.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to throw it over to Dad, who's going to talk about the CFL.
Yes, Week 3 in the Canadian Football League kicked off on Thursday, where the Montreal Alouettes defeated the Edmonton Elks 38-28. Not much to say about this game. Montreal, I think, was pretty much in control.
They looked so good.
Yeah, they got it going on. I'm afraid to say they looked really good last year. They lost in the playoffs, but they were dominant through the whole regular season, and they're picking up right where they left off.
And their quarterback, Alexander,
Davis
Alexander, 7-0 as a starter now in the CFL. He looks pretty darn good.
Yep. Let's see. On Friday night, it was the Saskatchewan Roughriders over our beloved Toronto Argonauts, 39-32. This, to me, was the game of the week because it all came down to the last 23 seconds. The Argonauts were down the whole game until 23 seconds. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion tied it up. So I'm thinking 23 seconds left. All right, we're talking overtime. We're gonna have some extra football here, and no. They kicked off, and Mario Alford for the Saskatchewan Roughriders returned the ball 99 yards for a touchdown, and that was it. That was the final score, 39-32.
Yep.
And it was a heartbreaker for Toronto fans. We were hoping to get the first win of the season. Now we're 0-3.
Yep.
So, man, I just so depressed after that game. But, I mean, I still say, even in the loss, that was the game of the week because it was great to see Toronto show some life, some fire.
Yep.
Nick Arbuckle looked great on that final drive where they had to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it up. But, yeah, just had the bottom fall out of it at the end there. Let's see. On Saturday, there were 2 games. The Ottawa Red Blacks defeated the Calgary Stampeders 20-12. Only 1 touchdown scored in this game. It was a rainy, sloppy field. He had almost three running backs came close to having 100 yards rushing this game, and that is just unbelievable because that's not really known as a running league.
Right.
But the only touchdown came in the fourth quarter, and Calgary had, Ottawa had led the whole game. So
yeah, it was a very sloppy game. So I mean, not a whole lot to write home about. You look at the stats, nothing really jumping off the page other than the running backs because. Yeah, not much you can do in that kind of weather. So
yeah, it's weird because you don't think of this time of year, even in Canada, you don't think of it as being cold and rainy. But boy, they had their jackets on. The one sideline reporter girl, she was covered up with a hoodie and all this stuff and an umbrella and wow, it was a mess for weather-wise. And then the final game was the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeating the BC Lions 27-14. Nathan Rourke dressed for this game but did not play for the BC Lions. And Winnipeg is another team that is picking up right where they left off from last year. They're at 2-0 now. They had a bye the first week, but
you got
they look good.
Yeah, I know we're not going to talk standings, but you got two teams in the West that are undefeated, and you got the Alouettes in the East and undefeated still. So you got three unbeaten teams to keep an eye out for.
And then the Hamilton Tiger Cats were on a bye this week in the CFL. Okay, well, let's move right on hastily to the Indoor Football League. And Adam, why don't you run those scores down?
Yeah, another fantastic week of Indoor Football League action. Too many high scores for my taste. It made me lose my contest entry to Trey's hat. I don't know if you entered his...
I have not entered. But
you can't now. It's already done.
But I would like to get one of those
already
hats.
Bought one. I messaged him. He let me pay for one. So I paid for a hat, so I got an off-the-wall hat coming.
You didn't get two, huh?
Nope, get your own. Randy.
I'd have paid for it.
Well, you can message him and get it yourself, or you give me the money, I'll send him the money.
I may have to.
I think he ran out now. He's waiting on another order, but just let him know.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, go get yourself an off-the-wall hat, everybody. All right. Anyway, in honor of our buddy Trey, we're going to talk Week 14 in the Indoor Football League. Starting on Saturday, where the Massachusetts Pirates got a big win over the Tulsa Oilers, 58-37. On Saturday, this was probably the game of the week, or one of the games, because this one ended up on the Sports Center. Top highlights, I think it was number 6, and it definitely got talk on the Pat McAfee show this week as the Fishers Freight finally get back in the win column, and they defeat the Green Bay Blizzard 57-56 on a last-second Hail Mary play. Yep. And if you watch the highlights, it was stunning. It was great. That team is 2-9. They started off 2-0. They lost 9 straight. We thought we cursed them. The curse is broken, people, because they got the win, and that crowd still looked great. Yeah. You lost 9 straight games, and you still got a crowd like that. Fishers, I love it. I love to see it. That team's going to be something special.
They got a great venue. They do a first class job putting on the game presentation. Yep. The gift shop is just full of anything you can imagine.
We cannot recommend going to see that.
Oh, that was awesome.
More
that was awesome.
Great. I would love to go back.
Yeah,
we'll
probably take it another game next year.
I mean, if they this could be the turnaround. They're technically not eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh, really?
My pick for them going to the national championship in the IFL could still happen. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Well, we'll see about that.
God, I'll probably look like an idiot, but God, if they make it and I look like a genius, Trey will forever be indebted to my predictions, even though I know I'm going to be wrong. So then also Saturday, the Jacksonville Sharks took care of the Quad City Steamwheelers 65-33. The Vegas Nighthawks defeated the Iowa Barnstormers 82-46.
Woof.
Yeah. And then the Tucson Sugar Skulls defeated the Northern Arizona Wranglers 59-38. This one was a surprise as the Bay Area Panthers took care of the Arizona Rattlers in a very low-scoring game for both of these teams, I feel like 37-24. Yeah. Bit of a shocker there. And then you also had the San Diego Strikeforce defeat the San Antonio Gunslingers 53-49. No teams on bye this week, so all teams were in action. And we're going to look at the standings after 14 weeks. So I believe they only got 5 weeks left of the regular season.
Yeah, I'm not sure
before their playoffs start up. In the East, at 9-3, you got the Quad City Steamwheelers. At 8-4, the Green Bay Blizzard and Jacksonville Sharks. At 7-5, the Tulsa Oilers. At 6-5, the Massachusetts Pirates. At 3-9, still not eliminated, the Fishers Freight. And at 1-10, the Iowa Barnstormers.
That's weird that Iowa. Normally, they're one of the anywhere from the middle of the pack to the upper part of their league.
From what I have seen of this team this year, especially, I can't remember how bad they were last year. I don't think they were great. But this year, it just seems like anytime they do something good or they get a lead, they just implode. they're just such a weird team. Like the moment you think they're good, they just are bad. It's really tough. A classic arena team or indoor team like that brand, just being 1-10 just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
All right, in the West, you have the Bay Area Panthers at 9-2, the 8-4 San Diego Strike Force, and then the 7-5 Arizona Rattlers and Vegas Nighthawks, followed by the 5-6 Tucson Sugar Skulls. At 3-9, the San Antonio Gunslingers, and at 1-11, the Northern Arizona Wranglers.
Northern Arizona won a championship game, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
So that's weird to see them falling so far.
Well, remember the
down.
year before they won the title, they were like 3-13 or whatever. They only won a couple games that year, and then the next year they won the championship. So a very up and down team, that Arizona Wranglers team. But with that finished in the indoor scene, we're going to throw it over to Randy, who's going to take us down south of the border to talk about the LFA.
Yes, La Liga de Fútbol Americano Profesional. This was week 8, the last week of their regular season down there. I discovered as I was putting the scores together because
I thought we had a couple more weeks.
No, I did too, but I was surprised to find out this was the end of the regular season, and we've already got their playoff matchups.
Okay.
So on Saturday, it was the Dinos over the Kings, 30-6. It was the Leaders over the Mexicans, 38-17, and that's the first loss of the Mexicans after a 7-0 start. So they were one game away from having a perfect season going into the playoffs. Also on Saturday, it was the Raptors over the Black Roosters, 30-24, and on Sunday, it was the Archangels over the Bears, 29-14. This was only the second loss for the Bears. They were right up there with the Mexicans also. And in this game, rookie kicker Jesus Aguirre, I think is how you pronounce his name, the kicker for the Bears, set a new LFA record for the longest field goal in league history with a 65-yarder.
Dang, that's impressive.
The previous record was 61 yards. Maybe he may get a look in the CFL.
CFL, UFL.
Yep.
I know Royce over at Viking Wax Press said the same thing. Like, give this guy a shot in the UFL.
Yep.
I mean, tough to say just send him immediately to the NFL, but I mean, give him a look in some of these other leagues. Yeah, Canada, see what you could do with this guy. I mean,
they've already got Jose Maltos up there. I can't remember which team he plays for right now, but he's been doing really good up there.
CFL's got a lot of good kickers up there. I mean, I'd love to see this guy get an opportunity. You have a boot like that. I mean, you got to at least get a look somewhere. Look what happened with Jake Bates.
Yep.
So whether that's maybe an NFL team gives him a look, with so many owners there for the Osos, maybe he gets a look in the NFL. Maybe some of these guys got some connections. Like, hey, we had a guy down here. Why don't you add him to your training camp? I wouldn't be shocked if he gets picked up by a team's training camp.
Sure.
At least give him a look. Maybe he doesn't make the team, but maybe that opens a door to a UFL or CFL.
Yeah, there's
an indoor and arena team up here in the States. Who knows?
The LFL season will be done by mid-July, so he'll be free to come up to a camp or maybe a couple of camps. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that. I hope that happens for him.
So the final standings for the regular season of the LFA, it's the Mexicans at 7-1, losing in the last week. The Bears at 6-2, the Leaders at 6-2, the Archangels at 4-4, the Dinos at 3-5. I got the Raptors at 3-4. That must not be wrong, must not be right because that doesn't add up to 8. But Black Roosters at 2-6, and the Kings at 1-7. So the playoffs begin on July 5th, not this weekend, so they're going to have a week off, and then they'll start their playoffs on July 5th. 2 games that Saturday, July 5th. The Archangels at the Mexicans and the Leaders at the Bears. That's your playoffs there. And then the LFA championship game is going to be played on Saturday, July 12th, probably at the home of the team with the best record.
One of the coolest championship trophies out there. I say that every year. That's one of the reasons I was like, we need to cover this league. They got a really cool championship trophy. Like I always compare it to, it's a mix between the Lombardi trophy and like the Wimbledon plate that they get, really? That big silver plate. I've shown you pictures.
I think I've seen it. I can't remember what
that's just the best way I feel like I can describe this trophy to anybody who's never seen it. So it's pretty cool. Looking forward to that.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go across the pond to Europe for the European League of Football's Week 6 scores.
That's right, everybody. A lot of interesting stuff over here in the ELF and some scores that are going to blow your mind. On Saturday, I saw the Tyrol Raiders. Tyrol, I always do that. Yeah. Tyrol Raiders over the Helvetic Mercenaries, 44-12. The Mercenaries falling to 0-5 on the season. Saturday, the defending champion Rhein Fire got some revenge on the Vienna Vikings, 33-26. This is the first loss of the season for Vienna, who did previously beat the Fire. A couple weeks ago, we talked about that. Then on Saturday, Randy's Nordic Storm remained undefeated as they defeated the Verslaw Panthers 47-19. The expansion team Storm are the only undefeated team left in the league. And then Sunday, we had a slew of games. The Prague Lions defeated the Hamburg Sea Devils 19-14. The Paris Musketeers defeated my Frankfurt Galaxy 35-16. The Munich Ravens defeated the Berlin Thunder 35-12. The Stuttgart Surge defeated the Cologne Centurions by a whopping 88-7.
Woo!
My goodness, that just sounds like an arena score that we had a couple weeks ago. And then on bye, the Madrid Bravos and the Farivar Enthroners who are 0-5. So that marks 3 teams, I believe, that are 0-5
Yes.
on the year. Oh, we actually got some standings now if I just scroll down a little further.
Yep.
After 6 weeks, so there are 4 divisions in the ELF this year. In the North Division, the Nordic Storm are 5-0, the Rhein Fire at 3-2, the Hamburg Sea Devils and Berlin Thunder at 2-4. In the South Division, you have the 4-1 Munich Ravens, the 4-2 Tirol Raiders, the 3-2 Madrid Bravos, and the 0-5 Helvetic Mercenaries. In the East, the Vienna Vikings at 4-1, followed by the 3-2 Prague Lions, the 2-3 Verslaw Panthers, and the 0-5 Farivar Enthroners. And then finally, in the West, you got the Stuttgart Surge at 4-1, the 3-2 Paris Musketeers, the 3-3 Frankfurt Galaxy, and the 0-5 Cologne Centurions.
Yeah, like you said, 3 winless teams, 1 undefeated team left at this point in the season. Okay. Well, I was going to read some Women's Football Alliance scores from the playoffs, but those playoffs don't start until June 28th, so there are no scores to report this week. But they have 3 divisions, and so they crown 3 champions every year. They have a pro division, Division 2 and Division 3, and all the playoffs are starting next Saturday.
Okay.
All right, so let's have Adam finish off the scores with the Arena League.
That's right. We're going to go down to the Arena League, where they got some of the nicest looking fields in all of indoor and arena football.
They do look
Not
good.
Not going to lie about that.
They do look good.
And starting Saturday, our Ozarks Lunkers defeated the Hot Springs Wise Guys 45-41. Saturday, the Duluth Harbor Monsters defeated the Eau Claire Axemen 47-40. And then finally, the Iowa Woo defeated the St. Joseph Goats 74-73. All of these games so close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all within a possession of each other. So
Yeah.
you'd love to see that. I mean, good for this little arena league. I know we don't really cover them or follow them a whole lot.
Right.
But they're starting to carve a niche for themselves. They're getting some recognition. Every time I go to X, I see the Iowa Woo got some new local sponsor added to their thing. So it's cool that the communities are buying into these teams and these franchises. Obviously, Garage Beer of the Kelsey Brothers ownership is heavily involved with the St. Joseph Goats now. I think they just added another person to their ownership group this past week too. So they got a lot going on there.
Yep.
So I think while the Arena League is still a little weird, I mean, I don't mind the 7-on-7, but the fact that they don't have field goals or
No
nets,
nets, no goalposts,
is
no
a little
kicking.
weird to get used to, and I'm still having issues streaming their games, and if I do, I have a problem with the audio and some of the video stuff. But
I'd have to see one in person to really know.
I think so too. At some point, it would be nice to go out and maybe check out this league. But hey, I have nothing terrible to say about them other than we had the score issues for a little bit. I know you've got that resolved. I think so.
Yep. I lose that link, and you won't be getting any scores anymore because I don't know if I can find it again.
But yeah, so good luck to them as their season continues on. And that'll be it for this week's scoreboard. So now let's throw it over to Dad for more happenings in the world of football.
All right, we're going to talk about the NFL a little bit here. Former New York Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley has announced his retirement from the NFL at the age of 33. During his career, he played from 2014 to 2024. He played for the Baltimore Ravens and the Jets. He was the 17th overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft by the Ravens out of Alabama. And he did opt out of the 2020 season due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
One of my favorite clips of him was a couple years ago. Do you remember the Lions-Jets game in New York? He was talking trash. They got him on mic, not during the game, but I remember seeing after the game. He was like saying, "You guys suck. You guys are terrible." And then that's when Jared Goff threw that 40-yard pass to win the game on 4th down. Remember the little screen pass to the tight end that just ran up the sideline and scored the game-winning touchdown. I mean, it ended up being the game-winning touchdown, but it was just funny to hear him talking all that trash, and he gets beat on that little crossing route, and they lose that game. So he was talking his smack, and it bit him in the butt.
Yeah, if you play for the New York Jets, you should not be talking trash to anybody.
Well, now you can because you got Aaron Glenn. I'm curious to see what that team's going to look like under him.
Well,
now.
until they do something, I say keep your mouth shut. And
That's any team that talks
And when you
trash.
start winning, keep your mouth shut. All right, let's see. Oh, I got excited about this. The Netflix series Quarterback Season 2 is going to premiere on Tuesday, July 8th. It's going to feature Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff. I said Browns. What is the Bengals quarterback?
Bengals quarterback.
I wrote that
The
down.
Browns wish they had Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow of the Bengals and Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins. And you just showed me the trailer.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't see the trailer.
All I
yet.
saw was a poster advertising the date when it was coming out, and I thought that's all there was because I've been busy doing other things today. But you said, "Oh no, there's a trailer too," so I looked it up just before we started recording, and yeah, it looks pretty good.
It does look good. I have a bad feeling. Like I felt like the first round of quarterback, it was 2 good stories, and then the third one that you're like, I can leave that one.
Right.
And this time around, I hate to say it, I think Kirk Cousins is going to be the one I'm not going to be so into. Even he was on the first season of quarterback, and now he's back. I don't know. But Jared Goff stuff looks great. Joe Burrow looks great. So I'm looking forward to this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am too. I don't know how many episodes it is.
Oh, it's usually 8. I want to say 8 or 9, depending.
Okay.
So,
but yeah,
I'm just not looking forward to that last episode because we know what happens to Jared Goff in the playoffs.
gosh,
I'm not looking forward to that.
We have to FF through that and just
skip the last episode.
probably. And I guess Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show today.
Oh my God,
This makes
this
news.
guy.
And he says this is most likely going to be his last season of playing in the NFL.
Oh my God! He said, doesn't he say that all the time now?
Well,
He's going to keep everybody guessing again.
I don't
so that next season, well, maybe I'll come back, and then
Yeah.
we wait a whole off season again.
Yeah, he'll wait until just before the first preseason game or something, training camp, and then he'll say, "You know what? I'm going to retire, and I'm going back to Green Bay, so that they can love me one more
Why
time."
can't they just stop putting a microphone on this dude's face? I don't care. I wish he'd just go away.
Yeah.
His family doesn't like him, and I don't like him. We got that in common, Rogers family.
All right, moving on to some college news. ESPNU is going to be broadcasting 6 Ivy League games this fall, including the annual Harvard-Yale game on November 22nd. I know that they've done some Ivy League games in the past. Every year, I think they're the ones that have been doing the Harvard-Yale game, and I always watch the Harvard-Yale game, even if I haven't seen it.
Haven't you had issues the last couple of years? Like, I didn't know where to find it, or you just missed it?
No, it seems like I can always find it somewhere, but I don't know if 6 is more or less. Usually, what the number of games that they do broadcast from the Ivy League, but there's only 8 teams, so every team is going to get at least one game, whether they're home or away. But they're all going to be on ESPNU at one point. So I kind of like the Ivy League. I mean, nobody talks about it. They don't, and I guess they are going to start getting into the playoffs this year, which they had never done before. They always said, we do our regular season, we don't do playoffs, and now they've decided, we could use a little extra money.
Oh yeah, we got some thunder outside.
Yeah, it was raining a minute ago. I heard it raining.
So we've been having this killer heat wave. I saw somebody put Kalamazoo on the. Like they had Kalamazoo at 100 degrees, Miami 100 degrees, like all these cities that are typically hot. Then there's Kalamazoo. I'm like, woof. We should not be in Florida heat right now.
I don't think it got up to 100 today, but I think
they're projecting it to be.
I think the heat index probably was
Maybe
100
that's what it
degrees.
was.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, that clap of thunder outside really threw Randy. Do you think Steven Titus was driving by again with another brick?
I went for a walk this morning with one of the dogs, and it was like not even 8 o'clock, and it was so stinking hot.
Oh yeah.
I normally go, down to the corner and I turn right, but I went left this time because there's a lot more shade down that way. So we went that way and tried to stay in the shade as much as possible. Man, oh man, it was hot this morning. Whew. All right, let's see. Our last story from college. This really gets me. Wisconsin has filed a lawsuit against Miami, accusing the school of tampering with a player who is under contract to the Badgers. freshman defensive back Zaire Lucas left Wisconsin and
I
enrolled.
want to say Xavier. You said Zaire. I, mean, I think it's Xavier.
It must be Xavier. Yeah, I'm sorry. Xavier Lucas left Wisconsin, enrolled at Miami in January after saying the Badgers staff refused to enter his name in the transfer protocol in December.
Portal.
Well, yeah. This is a first-of-its-kind legal case attempting to enforce the terms of a financial contract between a football player and his school.
It just sounds to me like Miami's just going to have to fork over some money and this will all be done.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that it's gotten to this point in college football, oh boy. We talked about it at the top of the show. It's just, this is the state of college we're in now.
Could they force him to stay at Wisconsin because he was under contract to them?
Man, that's...
He wanted to leave. Are they going to have to get some kind of compensation? This is a whole new world we're not familiar with.
Maybe
I have no idea how this is going to work out.
Maybe they have to fork over scholarships, draft picks. I don't know how this is going to work. Are we going to start doing a high school draft for these college teams?
And an eighth grader to be named at a later date.
There you go. That's how we fix it, college football. It just keeps getting messier and messier. We're drafting eighth graders. Goodness gracious. What are we doing? I know this isn't on the rundown, and I don't know if we're done talking about that story, but
sure.
Do you hear that, since Lee Corso's retiring, I forget the guy who's part of the show said that they're not going to let anybody do the mascot head thing. He's like, if anybody does do it, I'm going to tackle them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that was such a Lee Corso thing.
Yeah.
He came up with it. He invented it. He perfected it. Nobody else could do that.
Yeah, so it's going to stink to never see again.
Yeah.
Part of me hopes that on his last show, because he's doing one last show. Right?
Yes.
I hope he does every stinking mascot head. Get all the mascots there, and he just does them one right after the other. Every major college team, just get all their mascots in one place and let him do it. Like 138 mascots.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a compilation video of him putting on everyone that he's ever done.
He put on a Buster Bronco one, didn't he?
I believe he did.
Yeah.
I think he picked
when they were at Western. Yeah.
Yep, they came to Kalamazoo when
Western was undefeated.
Western was undefeated, and they went to the
Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl, yes.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Yeah.
But that was a great season for us. All right, today's birthdays for June 24th. Tight end Ron Kramer, born on this date in 1935. He passed away in 2010 at the age of 75. Played his college football at the University of Michigan. He was the 4th overall pick in the 1957 NFL Draft by the Green Bay Packers. He played 10 seasons in the NFL. He was with the Packers in 57 and then 59 through 64. He was with the Detroit Lions from 65 to 67, and he won 2 titles with the Packers in 61 and 62. All right, we do have 2 obituaries today also. This is where we take a moment and we honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first one is a gentleman by the name of Swift Birch, a defensive lineman in the Canadian Football League for 8 seasons, has passed away of cancer at the age of 55. Birch played college football at Temple University. He signed with the Toronto Argonauts and played for the team in 1994 and 1995. He also played for the Ottawa Rough Riders in 1996 and the Montreal Alouettes from 1997 through 2001.
And our final obituary this week is that of Richard Stevens, a guard in the NFL and the World League of American Football, has passed away at the age of 60. Stevens played college football at Tulsa and was selected in the 9th round of the 1989 NFL Draft by the Cincinnati Bengals. However, he never played for the Bengals. He played 2 seasons with the WLAF's Sacramento Gold Miners in 1991 and 1992, winning a World Bowl title in 1992. He also played in the NFL for the Raiders. Then he played for the Los Angeles Raiders in 93 and the Oakland Raiders in 95.
All right. Finally today, it's our upcoming events calendar. This Saturday, June 28th, the Arena Football One's Arena Crown Championship game. Number 1 seeded Albany Firebirds will host the number 2 seeded Nashville Cats in Albany.
And we will be there.
And we will be there, yes. I just hope that the trip doesn't take so much out of us getting there. That,
I think we got enough buffer in there to where, we're leaving on a Thursday. We'll get there Thursday evening. We got media stuff on Friday, so that'll be fun. We'll do some hobnobbing with the Arena Elite.
I think I saw that there's a Dairy Queen and a cheesecake factory near our hotel.
Do you think they'll rebrand to Dairy King for the crown?
Arena Crown Championship game sponsored by Dairy Queen.
Oh, maybe we get
the king and the queen.
Maybe we get a
arena
discount.
Football.
There you go. Randy will be wearing his Burger King crown.
Uh-huh.
But no, we'll be there. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It's going to be a long trip, but yeah, it's going to be a good time. All right, next Tuesday, July 1st, is our 400th episode, which we will be doing live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a new experience for us. We've never done this before. It'll be on YouTube, hopefully on Facebook, X, and Instagram also.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get it to work on Instagram, but I think there's a way.
Time's running out, son.
Well, don't worry. We're good. We're good.
Okay, that's all up to you. I'm just going to show up.
I literally have 1 week and 2 hours to figure this out.
Thursday, July 3rd, the CFL's Stampede Bowl will be played between Winnipeg taking on Calgary in Calgary.
That's something we didn't bring up. We talked about it on the CFL show, which hasn't aired yet, but we talked about the new Stampede trophy they unveiled.
Yep.
Pretty cool looking. If you guys haven't gone to see that on the internet, it's a pretty neat looking trophy. It's up there.
Yep. Let's see. Tuesday, July 8th, Quarterback Season 2 on Netflix. Looking forward to that.
Are you going to watch a few episodes before the podcast that day?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how our internet holds up.
Oh.
Thursday, July 10th, the EA Sports College Football 26 video game is released. I know you'll be all into that.
I'll probably end up getting it.
Yeah. Let's see. Friday and Saturday, July 25th and 26th, the 3 WFAF championship games will be played. The Pro Division, Division 2, and Division 3 in Canton, Ohio. And then finally, a few days later, Thursday, July 31st, the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio, between our beloved Detroit Lions and the L.A. Chargers.
There you go.
San Diego Chargers will be played, and we will be there at that game.
Yes, we will. It's very exciting stuff.
It's going to be a busy summer.
Hey. It's nice, though. I mean, things are going to be kind of dying down after the Arena Crown. It'll be a busy week, the live stream. Mm-hmm. Then we'll get kind of a few weeks to kind of recharge and just do a couple of little things here and there. It won't be super heavy, I think. And then we'll go to the Hall of Fame game. That'll be some content. We'll do a travel log for that, too, probably.
And there's a grave in Canton I want to visit.
Of course there is. There's
so maybe we'll fit that in, too. We'll see. And but, yeah, so many things going on. Just stay with us and see what happens next.
And I believe the start of, I want to say July 5th or 6th will be our 1 year anniversary of
That's mid-August usually.
No, our anniversary. You didn't let me finish my sentence.
Sorry.
Of us actually being monetized on YouTube. We'll have been getting paid for a year. Mm. So all those tens of dollars we've made have been put to good use.
Yeah. We might be able to stop at a vending machine on the way to
we could probably stop at that
Crown.
Dairy Queen now that you mentioned it. That's where that money's going.
Oh, we just blew all of our profits for last year.
We made it, guys. It took us a year, but we afforded Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
In Albany.
And I don't have this on the schedule yet, but yeah, we do have our 8th anniversary show coming up in August.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing for that?
I have no idea. I just now remembered that. So
okay, that's it. I say we had to go. How do you go bigger than a live stream, Randy? Can we do a show from an airplane? Can we do it in space like Tom Cruise or something? Oh, Randy, 0G show. We got that YouTube money now.
I don't know what we're gonna do for that.
Ooh, can we rent a float? A big World of Football float and just ride down the middle of Kalamazoo?
We can't buy a root beer float. All right.
If you have suggestions of what we should do for our 8th anniversary show?
8th anniversary show in August.
Man, in August, hit us up, let us know. If you guys are going to be at the Arena Crown game, I've already seen a couple people comment, like, are you guys going to be at the game? And like, yeah, we'll be at the game. We won't have specific locations, but if you stay, keep track of our socials, yeah, we'd be down to meet people. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll be at the game, so I'm sure hard to miss us. I don't know what you're going to wear. I might wear that Rampage jersey you wore last year to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, well.
Or we'll just wear our World of Football merch, so we'll be the only two doing that.
Yeah, it'll either be some World of Football t-shirt that I've got, or I've got some other, got a Grand Rapids Rampage t-shirt. I got a Detroit Drive T-shirt. I got some other ones.
So you're just gonna pack your suitcase full of all that stuff.
That's all going in the suitcase. I'll decide that morning which one of these which one smells, which one's clean. I'll wear the other one.
Leave your suggestion in the comments, and whatever gets the most likes will be the shirt Randy wears at the Arena Crown Championship. That would be a fun contest, Randy. Maybe that's what it should be. Give us 3 options. We'll put it on social media. We'll let our fans and followers decide what shirt Randy should wear to the Arena Crown Championship. I love that. This
is not a fashion contest.
It is now. This is great. I'm all for this.
I just want to go and have a good
time.
Pick
3 shirts and send them to me. I will make the post. Let's do this.
All right. Anything else pop up on your phone before we close this game out?
No, I'm not seeing anything new. I think we are all good.
All right. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week, folks. Don't forget to check out our World of Football merchandise. Yeah, we have merch, too. You're telling everybody to go buy a hat from Trey. What about our own merch? Go to tpublic.com and check out our merchandise for the latest football-related T-shirts, hats, mugs, and more from our merch store. Remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the 2 of us guys sitting here in Kalamazoo in the rain talking about football. Join us again next week when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
Yep, we'll see you guys for stuff around the Arena Crown Championship game, and then next week, live stream, everybody. We'll see you at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
On YouTube or the socials.
It's going to be a busy week.
Oh, yeah, looking forward to it. Let's do it. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this installment of This Week in the World of Football. New episodes of the podcast are posted every Tuesday and can be found wherever good podcasts are found. You can find the World of Football on Facebook, Instagram, and X by searching for TWOF Kalamazoo or using the links down in the episode description. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the World of Football for more fun football-related content. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @the World of Football. Thanks for listening and hope to see you again next time.